Okay guys. Continuing the story of the journey of the giant shark, this time the Phase movie will tell a film called The Huge Shark, which will be released in 2021 guys. This film tells about a vacation that will be carried out by several teenagers. But what they did turned into a terrible disaster, where a giant shark comes and attacks them all. But before going into the video, for those of you who haven't eaten, please eat first. If you have, don't forget to press the subscribe button so that this channel continues to grow and can provide interesting shows for all of you, and let's intro right away. At the beginning of the film we are shown where in the middle of the ocean there are a couple of lovers who are catching tuna. The lovers were delighted with the fish they caught. Soon they both saw a shadow of a bigger fish heading towards them until suddenly a giant shark attacks them to death instantly. While the woman tries to get back into her boat, however, and in the end this lovebirds became a giant shark meal, and the Huge Shark movie has just started guys. Sin then moved to a doctor named Senator, where he has a hobby of diving to enjoy the beautiful coral reefs in the ocean. Not only that, Sen is also skilled in surfing. Then we are also introduced to a man named Tian Ming, where at that time he praised Sen's ability to surf. Ming seems interested in Sen and offers him a drink, but Sen refuses. Until not long after that Sen's cousin named Yiran came and asked what they were talking about, and it was also known that Yiran was Ming's lover. At the beginning of the film you could see guys, if Yan Ming is a playboy. Because today is Ming's birthday, he invites Yiran and his brother to take a vacation. But it turns out that they are not just the three of them, because Ming's boss named Wendy will also come with them. Long story short, the four of them went by cruise ship to a place that, according to information, if the place was very beautiful and fun. However, few people know about the existence of this place. During the trip, it was seen that Ming and Wendy actually had a special relationship, but it was not realized by Yiran, who was taking pictures with his brother. Ming, who at that time, as the captain, saw a small boat that had been abandoned, and we could see that the boat was the boat used by tourists at the beginning of the film, guys. Because he felt that this place was the place he was referring to, Ming stopped his cruise. Sen, who likes to dive, then swims to see the beauty of the coral reefs in these waters, and it's true that the beauty of the coral reefs and the fish that swim are quite indulgent. While the others remained on board, until soon a commotion broke out, where at that time Yiran was annoyed to see Wendy and Ming, who were always making out without caring about it. Yiran then pushed Wendy down into the ocean, knowing that Wendy couldn't swim. Ming quickly helped him. Yiran, who was getting annoyed with Ming's behavior, also jumped into the sea hoping Ming would help him. But what happened, Ming just didn't care about him at all. From here we know if Ming and Wendy actually have a love affair. Basic playboy. Until shortly after that Sen, who had finished with his dive, asked Yiran to immediately return to the cruise ship, because Ming won't really care. But then suddenly came a giant shark and attacked Yiran. Yiran died instantly, while the others swam to the abandoned canoe. If you ask, why don't they get on the cruise? Because the cruise ship is not equipped with a rope ladder, so it's quite difficult to climb it guys. Okay, let's continue. Wendy, who was hit by an attack from the giant shark, was injured and lost a lot of blood. Therefore he was unconscious. Sen, who is a doctor, put aside his personal affairs about their behavior, and he gave first aid to save Wendy. After that Sen tried to pull the boat anchor, hoping they could get out of these deadly waters soon. But unfortunately the anchor of the small boat caught in the coral reef. Therefore Sen decided to dive to open the anchor that had been stuck. Meanwhile, what can you do? Basic Ming can only be troublesome. Sen did his best to break the anchor, and he managed to do so before the shark came back. Then they tried to row so that they could immediately return to the cruise ship they previously boarded. But what they did turned out to be in vain, because at this time the sea had begun to recede and they were even further carried away by the current. Until one day there was a commotion again where Ming said that everything that happened was Yiran's fault, because the real purpose of this vacation was none other than breaking their love affair, and telling Yiran that he already had another lover. As an older brother, Sen heard those words and slapped Ming, but not long after, the giant shark came back to attack them. The attack from the shark caused the boat they were using to leak, so Sen and the others tried to hold back the incoming water by patching it with the clothes they were wearing. It won't last long. Ming invites Wendy to immediately swim and leave the penny. Considering the wound he suffered, Wendy doesn't want to do it. Out of anger, Ming then dropped Wendy. Out of pity for Wendy, Sen tried to help her. Suddenly a shark approached them. Sen convinced Wendy not to move because sharks are very familiar with a movement. While Ming continues to swim and heads to the cruise ship intending to save himself and leave the two of them behind. But who would have thought Sen and Wendy actually succeeded and the shark turned towards Ming until in the end. Ming had to die, while Sen and Wendy decided to return to the boat and try to hold back the water that had entered as much as possible. Now leaving only the two of them, Wendy and Sen, to endure thirst and hunger, they also continue to think about how they can both survive the shark attack that is always lurking. Long story short, the night arrived, they were both still floating in the deadly waters. Wendy, who was desperate, then apologized to Sen for the mistakes she had made. Because if Wendy and Ming didn't intend to tell their relationship to Yiran, none of this would have happened. Although a little annoyed and angry, Sen tries to stay calm and assures Wendy that they will survive. Sen then invited him to swim to a beacon buoy not far from them. Because only like that they have a greater survival ability, but before they do that, suddenly the sharks come and attack them again. With fishing weapons in their boat, with great difficulty they both managed to injure the shark. But unfortunately the boat they were riding capsized due to the impact of the sharks that fled. Luckily they both still survived. Sen invited Wendy to immediately swim towards the beacon buoy. But the shark came back and attacked Wendy. Wendy died instantly, while Sen only lamented his fate, which left him alone. Because the installments have not been paid off and the COVID-19 PPKM is still being extended, Sen tries to find something that can keep him alive. And he found a bottle of water for him to drink. It turned out that not only was there water in the flare buoy, Sen also found a flare gun which contained 3 bullets, which Sen could use. Calmed down a bit and he rested for a while until soon another cruise ship passed by. Sen tried to scream, hoping the people on the yacht could hear him. Sen also fired one of his flares to let him know if there were people in these waters who needed help. But the shot just went off and exploded in the water. Obviously the yacht couldn't see the flares fired by the penny. Unlike the shark, where now he could tell where the penny was. Sen never gave up. He fired another bullet again, but his efforts were in vain, because the yacht had gone too far. While the sharks, already aware of Sen's whereabouts, started attacking the flare buoy, and Sen continued to try to survive. Then he saw the fishing gun he had previously used to injure the shark floating nearby. He tried to reach for the weapon and managed to get it back. Even though attacks from sharks continued, Sen continued to try to protect himself from shark attacks. Until suddenly, The enormous shark flew right over his head. The giant shark seems never satisfied to attack man. Until soon. He attacked again and managed to make the buoy of the beacon he was riding on shattered. And for the umpteenth time luck favored the penny. Because he managed to survive the deadly shark attack, making the shark angry and blindly attack Sen, who is sheltering among the debris of the flare buoy. Sen put up a bit of resistance and managed to get the shark trapped. Not long after, Sen saw a rock. With difficulty he swam towards the rock, while the shark that has escaped its trap is back chasing Penny. Luckily Sen just in time managed to save himself up on the rock. Long story short, the next day the hunger and thirst he could no longer stand. To survive, the penny then saw the snail lying on the rock and ate it. Because snails have an unpleasant taste, even pennies spit it out. While the sharks are always circling standby watching pennies hoping to be eaten too. Soon Sen saw a gas tank floating nearby. This time he planned to take the tank in order to survive. Sen then swam back and tried to reach the gas tank. For the umpteenth time he also managed to be on time. Then Sen injures his leg, intending to lure the sharks to come towards him. Because as we know, if sharks really like the smell of blood, guys, with pain, hope the sharks will come soon. And sure enough, it didn't take long for the sharks to arrive. Sen took a position to attack, but the shark came from behind and almost devoured him. Lucky Sen can still dodge. He returned to take the gas he had prepared by immediately throwing the gas tank right into the shark's mouth. Then he fired the only flare bullet left right at the gas tank and instantly the shark was killed. While the penny was thrown off due to the effects of the explosion. Because he felt safe, the penny went back to swimming and headed to the cruise ship. Do you think that the penny is safe? Not necessarily, guys. Because it looks like a shark measuring 10 times larger than before came and preyed on the carcass of a giant shark that attacked Penny. And the movie is over. That's the story from the 2021 Huge Shark movie, guys. Hope you guys are entertained and see you in the next video. Bye bye.